She's a ginger. Hey everybody, welcome back to Blushing Phoenix. My name is April and I am the founder of Blushing Phoenix. Yours truly has struggled and mentally battled erythrophobia, which is the fear of turning red. I was a chest and neck flusher, and then eventually it moved to my face, and I struggled with the insecurities around blushing for many years until I decided that I wanted to reframe my thoughts around what does blushing mean to me? What am I believing about this that's making me feel this way and making me react in a small way and making me feel like I can't go out and meet people and do things and be successful and all the things? I decided to switch my perspective and write the meaning of my life based on what I wanted it to be. So if you've been around for a while, you have seen me go on that journey. But what I want to talk to you about today is how I was able to make friends starting in 2024. So as a person who has chronic blushing, how do we make adult friendships? How do we go out and meet people? How do we put ourselves out there? And I moved from my hometown in 2023 and moved to a new state and took a little time to get established in the new land, and then decided, you know what? It's time to put some roots down, let those roots grow, and I want to meet some people. And the best way to go about meeting people is you got to put yourself out there. So there are all sorts of groups on Facebook and social media where you can meet people in your local area. And so I just looked up somewhere in my local area with women and jumped into some conversations there. It looks like this group is specifically about bringing people together in the area. And I just put myself out there. And it was the weirdest thing to do it at first, because I was like, I'm a grown up. Is that not really strange to be like, hello, I'm out here trying to make friends? But then I thought about it and I was like, of course it's not strange. You have to put yourself out there for what you're looking for. And so that's what I did. I put myself out there. I mentally prepared myself for, I'm gonna fill my calendar up as much as I can, because I was very aware of my social battery as well, because even though yours truly is social, I also can get very introspective and need time to decompress, let my nervous system, we've talked about this before, blushing, flushing, overactive nervous system, and just highly sensitive people altogether. So we have to have our social battery charged up and then go do the thing, all the social things, and then make sure we're taking time for self-care and recharging that battery. And so that's what I did. And I started putting people in on my calendar as much as I could without overwhelming myself, but I also wanted to stretch myself. And so this is not some groundbreaking news to share with you of how do you make friends as an adult, especially an adult who flushes or blushes red, is you just got to do it. You got to put yourself out there. You have to ask people if they would like to get together. There were a couple people in that group that I spoke with that were so happy that I reached out to them to get together, and we went out for coffee. There was another person that I just follow her on social media, and she's local, and I just love her content. I love her heart. I feel like she's not a person who's putting herself out there in a way of just trying to sell something. I feel like she actually genuinely cares about people and wants to bring value to them. And so I just reached out to her and I was like, I just love what you talk about here, and I would love to see if you would want to get coffee. And she was like, yeah. And so I've met with her a couple of times. She's such a genuine, amazing person. And out of the handful of people that I've met with starting in January, my goal was to meet as many as possible in January, because most likely lives are going to get busy and people are going to fall off and they're going to go on with their lives. But if just one or two stuck around and we continued to pour into each other each month, then by the end of the year, I should have grown some pretty decent relationships, right? So here we are, and it's March, and I am just super impressed with the people that I've met, because I think that they're sticking around, which is awesome, and being intentional. So whether I ask them to hang out or they ask me to hang out, it doesn't feel like I'm doing all the work. But with, I want to say, almost every single one of them, maybe there's one that I haven't talked about it with, but every single person that I've met with, I think I've talked about Blushing Phoenix and erythrophobia, chronic blushing, flushing, and nobody cares. There's not they were all of a sudden oh my, you're a weirdo. I don't want to talk to you anymore. If anything, they're extremely fascinated by it and want to hear more about it, and just continue on with a relationship. So I was at a women's event yesterday, and I met this lady who was talking about how she's bringing these women together with these different sorts of creative giftings. Like this one lady is a videographer, and there's another lady that does photography, and there's this other lady who does like whatever. And I was like, that's incredible. You know, I've created a YouTube channel. I have created like other written content. I've written books. I have hosted a couple podcasts, and I would love to get in on that. And so the videographer lady came over. She was introduced to me. We were having a discussion about women in the like creative digital arts area. And I shared with her about Blushing Phoenix, and I was the founder of Blushing Phoenix and what that is. And she was like, what is that again? And I shared with her again what it is. And she was like, fascinating. That is fascinating. I've never heard of that. I've never thought about that. I've never even considered that people were struggling with that. And I'm like, it absolutely is a thing. And I just feel like I've been able to educate people more by being able to talk to them. And I was realizing that, okay, let's see. So it's March. I just got my hair done today. And I was sitting in the chair at the hair salon. As the girl who does my hair, she went to go have her lunch because my color was sitting on me and it needed to process. My nervous system stayed so chill that whole time that I was there. Every single time. I have a video about when I go get my hair done and when I was going to a new person to get my hair done, and I told her I was going to turn red and blah, blah, blah. Well, this girl in my new state, when I had to find somebody to do my hair, I told her, I'm going to get flushed. I'm going to have an allergic reaction. It is something that happens. And then I educated her about Blushing Phoenix, and then we just had a conversation. I've only seen her, I want to say this is my third time to see her. Not one time did I flush or get incredibly overwhelmed in my body. And I was sitting there at one point just waiting for the color to process, and I was playing on my phone, and I'm looking across into this mirror, and she's not around. And I just looked at myself in the mirror and saw how calm my skin was and how calm I was. And I thought to myself just how much safer my whole nervous system feels since I moved away from the previous state I was in. And it just goes to show that when we take control of our thoughts and our beliefs and even our environments, it can change everything. My nervous system, it's almost been a year. It'll be a year in May that we officially moved here. But my nervous system in less than a year has started to adapt and adopt the story that you are safe here and you belong here. It was one thing to set that emotion in my mind for many years. It's another thing to actually put my body in an environment and it start to believe that messaging as well, because it's having a totally different experience. So I say all that to say to you, this was kind of all over the place, but I say that to say to you that if you are in a place where you just feel lonely and isolated, I would really like to encourage you to take a piece of paper. It's always good to write these things down. Take a piece of paper and write down, what am I believing about this situation, or what am I believing about what other people are going to think that is making me feel this way? And then I want you to explore that belief, because it's your belief at the end of the day. It doesn't mean it's a true reality. It may be what you're experiencing, but a lot of what you are experiencing is based off of your perspective and how you're seeing things through a lens that is making you a victim to that redness. Listen, people blush, they stumble over their words, people sweat, people shake. Everybody has some sort of element of social anxiety. Even people who seem extremely confident, who have the gift of gab and they can talk. A lot of times the reason why people can talk so well is actually a state of anxiety that is pushing them to talk out of nervousness. They're just a little more clear-minded when they do it, so their words may flow a little bit better. I know for myself, sometimes if I get super anxious, I can talk a lot. And more than this, I can talk a lot, and I can be like super energized and just like have a lot of like flow and energy around what I'm saying. That doesn't mean necessarily that I'm being super confident. It actually could mean that I'm actually being anxious. So I say that to tell you, being anxious, having experiences in your body, having sweating or blushing or an increased heart rate, that's all part of being a human that's alive. So you're alive. And this is part of being a human. If these are things that make you feel extremely uncomfortable, then there are so many things you can do to work on the actual discomfort of the symptom. So if you have increased heart rate and respiratory issues, like not necessarily issues, but you start breathing hard, you can start doing breathing exercises that will bring everything back into a state of calm and the whole rest and digest experience, because you have your fight or flight, then you have your parasympathetic nervous system that'll kick in and say like, we're normal here, let's rest and digest. I have so many videos on that stuff. Feel free to like binge watch anything. You can search in the search bar on Blushing Phoenix for any topic that you're interested in to see if there is a video about it. If you can't find what you're looking for, feel free to leave me a comment on this video and give me suggestions of anything that you'd like to hear about, and I'm happy to talk about that. Can we just celebrate the fact that we're human and our bodies do human things? If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. We have grown the channel like crazy over the past like 30 days since I started asking you guys to help support the channel by liking the videos and subscribing. It just seems like it just like shot up all of a sudden. And that is incredible, because what it's telling me is that more people are getting this information, and it's because of your support. So thank you as always. And until next time, I'll see you in my next video.